only dependent things exist.
Yep.
Right. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, because believe it.
That's PSR. That's PSR. You just done it. You just did PSR. You just.
I know.
That's a sufficient reason.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Is there a reason why this postulate is true?
Are you asking me to justify my premise?
No, I'm asking if there is.
Are you asking me to justify
why this postulate is true?
Are you with me here? Are you listening or not?
I'm very much with you. I'm here.
I totally agree with you on the fact that there's a great flesh that joins what I am saying with the principle of sufficient reason spoken about by Gottfried Leibniz. I understand that, and I think everybody understands that. The Academy understands that.
If I may
let me finish. But the Academy, the Academy also understands the distinction between these arguments. That's why they name them different things in all languages that have been articulated in. I'm saying that, for example, if you have a peer-reviewed paper in the Philosophy of Religion journal, right, which talks about the principle of sufficient reason, it's not seen as synonymous with an idea of the imkan or the burhan by Ibn Sina or whatever. Okay, great. So all I'm saying is...
So the distinction between a causal principle, which some arguments include, and in the PSR. In all arguments, the PSR is used, but not in all arguments, the causal principle.
You're not understanding this.
So I don't have to ask you for a causal principle.
Have you read Monadology?
No, I don't have to read it. No.
I'm not telling you whether you have to read it or not. I'm asking you a question whether you have read it. Have you read Monadology? Have you read it?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're talking about something you have no knowledge of, effectively.
I'm talking about something.
Effectively, you have no knowledge of it.
Hold on. The problem is this: when you
why are you talking about it?
If I may finish, please, thank you. So when we are using certain languages, right? We're using certain language. The PSR is a term that starts with Leibniz, for example, when he uses certain terms to establish in his academia in Germany. He also makes.
Leibniz?
Gottfried.
Okay.
So Gottfried makes certain emendations in his work, probably around let's say 10 years before he died, where he talks about.
Well, you haven't read his book, so you don't know what he does.
No, I haven't read that specific part of his.
But that's where he articulates the argument.
I'm talking about his letters.
We're talking about the principle.
Hold on.
No, but why do you?
I'm talking about his letters.
No, but you don't know his argument then.
No, I'm talking about his letters.
How can you tell me about? No, but you're articulating an argument. You haven't even read the book.
I'm articulating an argument that stems even beyond the book, because the principle of sufficient reason.
This is beyond. This kind of beyond you, kind
of. Even coined by Leibniz, you and I will both agree that academics can still use the PSR, even if they haven't read specifically the magnum opus.
No, but you're not dealing with my argument.
The argument that you're making is that you can make a postulate without the PSR.
Okay,
that's the postulate that you made.
Listen to me. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Can I just?
No, you said it's bereft.
No.
It's bereft of the PSR. That's what you said the entire time.
Okay, well, let me explain. Maybe it's
what bereft means. That's what I said before.
Let me cross purposes. Maybe you don't understand. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for my actions. Yeah.
That's fine.
Let me make it clear again.
Go on.
I'm saying, yes, I sympathize very, very clearly academically with the ideas of the PSR. I don't necessarily even disagree with it. Strong versions of it, no problem.
But that wouldn't tell me to collapse. That's the argument that he's making.
Like literally all academics.
I haven't finished what I've just said. I don't necessarily even disagree with it.
Okay.
However, I'm not making the argument. My argument, if you want to deal with it, you can. If you don't, I don't want to waste your time. Honestly, is as follows. My argument is as follows. If you want to deal with it, you can. You can talk about the PSR. We all know now you haven't read the book of Leibniz. No. So excuse me. You have not read Monadology. It's like talking about Islam without reading the Quran.
That's a bit fallacious.
No, it's not.
Me not reading one specific book that starts the arguments for the PSR does not mean that I can't understand the PSR.
It's like talking about why.
If you haven't read Aquinas' commentary on the sentences,
I'm not going to take
that doesn't mean that you haven't understood Aquinas.
I get it.
That just means that you haven't read one of the
I understand what you're saying, but with all due respect, I can't take you seriously if you haven't read the primary text.
Again, the primary. Hold on. There's no primary text.
It's one of the primary texts.
It's like saying, because you haven't read.
There is actually.
Okay, so I'll give you a concrete example. If you haven't read the prior analytics, you cannot talk about the laws of identity. Of course not.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm not going to.
You're saying is that you can't take me seriously.
You're bringing.
Okay,
listen. Excuse me.
It's a false argument.
It's not an argument. I'm just giving my opinion.
It's a false opinion, I should say.
How's it a false opinion?
It's a bad opinion. Yeah, people have bad opinions. It's a bad opinion.
Okay, excuse me.
I mean, by false I mean bad.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Whatever. That's my opinion too.
Okay, your opinion is fine. I'm saying. Okay,
and I accept that. That's good.
Excellent. What I'm saying to you is this. Instead of talking about a PSR, I have an argument I'm putting forward today.
Yeah.
Since you guys are trying to be analytic philosophers by the looks of it.
I'm not an analytic philosopher.
I'm a continental.
Oh, continental philosopher, something like that. Okay, excellent.
You know what continental philosophy is?
Yes, I do. It's kind of like the difference between, there's two main schools of thought in Western academia. By the way, what is your credentials for you to be asking me this question?
I'm not asking, I'm just a person in the park.
Okay, yeah. Continental philosophy, like Nietzsche, for example, would represent the school of thought where it's more about subjective experience. More about subjective experiences where demonstrative proof and using valid argumentation is not at the fore of it.
That doesn't really tell me the distinction between.
Yeah, I mean, there's different kind of. Anyways,
use the same thing,
no
right?
problem,
Like,
no
not
problem.
really
But most schools of thought here in the West, for example, they're analytic philosophy schools. You guys are undergraduates, right?
Oh no, I don't go uni.
You don't go uni, no problem. It's not it's not a prerequisite. What I'm saying to you is as follows now. Go to the second point. I have an argument to make. I don't know why you put your sunglasses on all of a sudden.
Because I can't hold them.
Oh, okay, no problem. What I'm saying to you is as follows. Question is, I have a postulation to make. It's not. I agree with you. There's some aspect of the PSR which is there. I agree. Totally. Yes, I totally agree. It's not the same articulation. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same argument.
I don't disagree.
No one's disagreeing.
Perfect semantics.
I don't disagree that the arguments are identical.
They're not
I'm just
identical.
saying, given that you've made a postulation,
Yeah.
is there a reason as to why that postulation is true?
What we're saying is,
They're not true.
what we're saying is this: is that
Yeah,
whenever
I
anyone
get
makes a postulate, they have to use the PSR.
All right.
That's what
Excellent.
we're saying.
Are you? Is there a reason for that?
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah. What's the reason?
Yeah, because of the impossibility of the contrary.
Okay. So
Let's say
you
that-
take you accept.
I'm not denying
fine,
the
fine.
PSR,
All
but
I'm
right.
not denying that, but what
Yeah,
we're saying
fine,
is,
fine.
well,
Well,
if I can
you're-
just clarify my
yeah,
point,
of
right?
course.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, and just to clarify for every single person here,
Yeah.
including yourself, what I'm saying to you and what he's saying to you is that anyone that makes any postulation, any argument at all, you have to use the PSR to some degree.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
Amen. Great.
I don't disagree with that.
Are you okay? So now we have to talk about what version are you using?
No. I'm not using that though. That's
You just
no.
You said that in your argument you've used some form of the PSR, so
listen,
either you're
let
using
me-
the strong form or the weak form. That's what we're
Can I-
saying.
there's only two options.
I know you guys have come with a PSR. I'm not defending the PSR.
I just came randomly.
No, you
You
gave
spoke to me about PSR,
No,
bro.
you gave an
You came out and spoke to me about PSR, and then you talk about modal logic S5, and then
I didn't mention S5.
No one said this.
excuse me, what is modal logic? Well, how's it represented?
I didn't mention anything ever.
Okay. Wait, hold on.
I spoke about the K
Modal.
axiom.
Excuse me, hold
I
on.
spoke about the K axiom.
Modal logic is abbreviated as S5.
No. There are different systems in modal logic.
Modal logic is
There are different
S5.
systems.
Modal
There's
logic is
S4,
yeah, S4 and S5.
There's a T axiom.
Accept
there's
it.
So
a
then
K
modal
axiom,
logic
there's
wouldn't
a-
just be S5. Then
It's
wouldn't
not
No,
just
S4 and S5, yeah, it's true.
Because there's controversy.
No, but you mentioned S5 in particular. You were talking about
I
K.
did not mention S5.
No, but you were talking about the K axiom.
Yeah, the K axiom.
That's in S5.
No. The K axiom is presupposed in S5. but
Yes,
the K
fine.
axiom is in the first.
Whatever,
initial
man.
axiom.
Whatever. You're wasting my time and yours.
It's not just S5
Look,
then, is it?
It's S4 and S5.
It's not really.
So hey, here's the point.
It's not. It's like, look,
No, let me just finish with this guy. Okay, excuse me. With all due respect, you're not qualified and you're not read. So here's the point.
That's not an argument.
No, it's not an
That's not
argument.
an
I'm not
argument.
making.
No,
I'm not.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm not making an argument.
That's an argument from authority.
Statement of fact. Statement of fact.
I could say that.
Objective
I
fact.
could say that an 11-year-old
Objective
doesn't know
fact.
anything
It's
about
an
high school, but they
objective
could
fact.
give me the
It's
same
objective-
arguments. It wouldn't matter.
It's objective fact.
Okay, you
It's
have
objective fact.
again. I can say that I have
Objective
never read a
fact.
single book in my life. It wouldn't
Objective
matter.
fact.
That's an argument from authority.
Objective fact.
That doesn't matter.
I don't care. I'm making it.
Okay,
I'm saying it.
so you're making
Now-
a fallacious argument then. That's fine.
No
So a
problem.
qualified
No, I'm
person
not
is
making an
a fallacious
argument. It's not. It's
That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense.
It's not an argument. It's not an argument. It's a fact. Objective fact. So here's the thing.
We got to start again. Saying that I'm not qualified is not an argument. We all know
I don't care.
this.
I don't care.
Right. So you don't care that
I
it's
don't
not
care.
about. That's about.
I'm not making.
That's fine.
It's
by
not an
you.
argument.
I know.
It's not an argument.
Okay, you're saying.
I'm not making an argument.
You're saying.
I'm simply telling you you're not qualified.
Right.
Is that true or false?
That's poisoning the
Is
well.
it true or false?
That's poisoning the
Is it
well.
true or false?
I haven't given any
Is it
credentials.
true or false?
I don't need to.
Is it true or false?
I don't need to.
Is it true or false?
I'm not going to verify the claim.
Is it true or false?
I'm not going to verify.
Is it true or
I don't
false?
need to verify.
Is it true or false? You already did.
don't need to verify.
You haven't read the book. You haven't read the book that you're.
Because we're not studying the history of Gottfried Leibniz. We're looking at the PSR as a basic
Okay,
principle, and we know that.
You're not tested. You're not tested.
Okay, I'm not
Now here's the
testing.
thing. Second, you're not tested. Second point. Yeah, you're not tested academically. Second point. Second point. I'm making the point.
Exactly.
I am making the
You're
point.
making an argument.
I'm making the
which is
point.
wrong, 'cause your argument-
How do you know?
You're making an argument that's wrong.
You're a layman.
That doesn't matter.
You're a layman. Okay, second point. Second
argument. Just saying that you're a layman, it's not an argument, and you know
Okay,
this.
okay, let me make my argument. My argument is as follows.
anything in
My
your
argument is as
argument
follows.
tells us
Then
it's
My argument is as follows. Do you want to deal with it or do you want to run away? You can deal with it or
No one's
run.
running away. You
Okay,
keep trying
do you want
to
me
say
to?
that
My
you're
argument is
qualified and
okay.
we're not.
I didn't say I'm qualified at all.
Okay, are you qualified?
No, you're asking me a question now.
I'm asking you if you're qualified.
I don't want to verify.
You don't want to verify. That's fine.
I don't want to verify. I don't want to verify.
That's what I did. That's what I did. That's what I did.
People know
That's
my.
great.
Okay,
So then it's one unverified person with another
no
unverified
problem, I
person
don't care,
having a
I don't-
conversation.
whatever.
We agree on that.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. Do you want me to show your hands?
Absolutely.
Okay,
There
let's
you
move
go.
on.
So
Move
now
on.
that we've done it,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
get the postulate again. Right?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go on.
My postulation is as follows.
Yeah.
My postulation is
Yeah, go on.
you cannot have a state of affairs. I'm telling you this because this is my PhD thesis.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great.
That's completely fine.
And anyway, this is how I put it.
Where's your PhD
What are you laughing at?
I'm just saying.
What's funny
It
about
doesn't
that?
really matter. That's what I'm saying.
No, but let them have their chance.
They do this all the time.
I know, but let them have
You've
their
never
chance.
seen me before.
Let them have their chance. This is my PhD thesis, been peer reviewed.
That's great.
Many people have seen it, and I want to see if you guys have a chance at defending it because it's been through a peer review process. So let me see if you can answer it because I don't want to waste my time and yours. I have a chapter of my dissertation, my thesis, my 3-year dissertation, which is about Gottfried Leibniz, where I had to look at modalities and all that stuff. And I have a separate chapter about Ghazali's argument. I have a separate chapter about Avicenna's argument. I have and all of them are different forms of the contingency argument.
True.
At no point in my academic career did anybody tell me, actually, you're mentioning the PSI everywhere here. You might as well just do what you want. I've spoken to academics at the highest, excuse me, with all due respect, you guys aren't qualified. I spoke to people at the highest level.
That's great.
I
That's
don't
not the point
care.
I'm making.
I spoke to, and all of them told me, this is different from this, it's different from this, it's a different chapter, different articulation.
not the point
No
that you're making.
problem. People could take your view or they could take the view of the academics. No problem.
That's not a distinction. They
no
can take
problem.
either the view
No
that
problem.
you're doing
Yeah, I
or the
don't
view
care.
that you're
I don't care.
proposing.
My
And the
question
view
is,
that you're proposing
okay,
necessitates PSR.
you're wasting my time. I'm
I'm
going to give you my argument. My argument is as follows.
wasting your time.
This is the
Just
argument of my
clarify the point.
dissertation. That's why I've been able to say it with great fluidity. And I've been repeating it and you haven't responded to it.
We've responded multiple times.
No,
In
no.
fact, hold on.
I haven't even said it.
So this is the point. So you
What
then,
did I say?
okay, so either you repeated the argument multiple times,
Do you want me to
or
say
you
it again?
haven't said
Do you want me to say it
So, okay, either you've repeated the argument multiple
Do you want
times,
me to say it again?
or you haven't said it.
Do you want me to say it
So,
again?
When we are
What is the
addressing your
argument?
point, hold on.
What's the argument?
Hold on. I'm addressing the statements that you made.
So what's
before,
my argument?
Which was about your PhD thesis. I'm
What's
just
my
going to
argument?
finish the argument that's going to be happening now. So when it comes to the same academics that review your paper, they, in their reviews of your paper, because I'm sure you've received reviews, obviously there are certain academics, postgrads that will help you with the paper as well when you're writing it, because you've been writing it for 3 years. These same individuals will tell you ways that you can improve the paper or ways that you can make your
Are you giving me academic advice now?
I'm not giving academic advice.
So what's this? What are you talking about?
Process. That has nothing to do with
I don't need to know the process from an underqualified.
What I'm talking about specifically is that
How-
even
tell me the
those same
process for?
people that are reviewing your work,
What about
the
them?
same people that are reviewing your work, right?
Yeah.
They will at least accept in part that these different contingency arguments,
You're
what
wasting-
underlies them is the PSR.
no,
Now they don't
no,
explicitly
they-
refer to the
no, no,
PSR.
Just true.
That's just true for contingency arguments in general, and we know
to
that.
be truthful.
Let's
There's going to be a distinction in a causal principle.
no, you're not.
Specifically,
Okay.
metaphysically for the PSR.
You're okay. I know you.
PSR is going to be
Okay.
presupposed in all of
Let me.
Right, that's
All
what
right.
I'm
So
saying.
you're talking about PSR. Let me give you my argument, my articulation. If you want to deal with it, you can. If you don't, everyone's going to see that you haven't. Here's the point. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things can exist.
Is there a
Now,
reason why that's true?
no, I'm not asking is the reason or not. That's my question. Go ahead.
That's not a question.
And that's my postulation. Do you want to respond to
Right.
it?
Okay, so
Do you agree or disagree?
I want to
you
respond
do you
to the,
agree or
I want to
disagree?
respond to the postulate. So if I'm going to respond to the postulate,
Do you agree or disagree
then
with
I'm
it?
going to respond to it in this
But do
way.
you agree or disagree
Okay,
with it
okay.
first?
I'm just going to use Hitchens' razor.
Do you agree or disagree with
I'm
it?
going to use Hitchens' razor.
Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to use Hitchens' razor.
Do you agree or disagree?
I don't see really any evidence to believe in this.
Oh, really?
Right? There's not
Oh,
not been a sufficient reason given.
Oh, really?
So when a sufficient reason is given, then I can
Really?
agree or not. Now I can
okay.
tell you that the statement that you're saying is cognitive. We can agree there. The
So,
statement has
do you
cognitive
agree or
information.
disagree with it?
I don't agree or disagree with it because there's not
Okay,
been a
so
sufficient reason given.
you don't agree or disagree with it?
I can dismiss
you're
it as
agnostic.
just that, a
So
postulate.
no problem. So you're
I can dismiss it
so
just as
so
a
you're
postulate.
ignorant of its truth.
I'm not saying I'm ignorant of its truth.
Yeah, you're
I'm
ignorant.
saying, I'm
That's what
saying
you
that
just
there's no
admitted.
sufficient
He
reason.
doesn't know.
No,
You're ignorant.
I'm saying this. Okay, you're using.
You're ignorant.
Hold on. It seems to be
You're
the case that
agnostic.
you're
You're
using
ignorant.
certain buzzwords to sort of
No,
like
no, but that's what you
articulate
just said.
Well, what
You're
I'm going to say,
ignorant.
What
You don't know if it's right or wrong.
What I said is that
Are
I
you
can
ignorant?
use Hitchens' razor.
Hold on.
I can just dismiss the claim
Hold
as
on.
a claim
No,
in
but you
general.
can dismiss everything.
I'm not saying that I'm dismissing the claim
I can
as false.
dismiss the claim
I'm not
that I
affirming the claim as
exist.
true.
You can dismiss that. I
can
can say I
say-
exist. I dismiss that. I'm asking you a question.
You can dismiss that if there's no sufficient reason given, and there's going to be sufficient reasons given for your existence.
Okay, no problem. I'm asking a question.
Yeah, go on.
The proposition, there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't agree or disagree. No, I'm not asking questions. I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you questions.
It's either a contingent
Do
or a
you
necessary.
agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
It's either
Do you agree or
contingent
disagree?
or necessary
Do you agree or
proposition, my
disagree?
friend. That's what's going on.
Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
Given that it's either contingent or
Yeah.
necessary, then I can agree to one or the other.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree? No, I'm not answering the question. I agree or disagree?
About your
Yeah, agree or disagree? Disagree. Why do you disagree?
Well, no. Then that means that he has to give a sufficient reason for his
Yeah,
point. That's the
yeah.
point.
Why do you disagree?
But
No,
then
hold
you
on,
just
no.
said
Why
that
do you
you can
disagree?
make arguments without the
No,
PSR.
why do you disagree?
So he
Why
can
do you
do the same
disagree?
thing.
I mean,
Excuse
he's
me.
not wrong about
Why
that.
do you disagree?
He's not
can just say the same
Why
thing.
do you? I know you. It's a double act. Why do you disagree?
Well, look, first of all,
Why do you disagree?
I'll tell you why I disagree.
What's your sufficient reason?
My sufficient reason.
Yeah. What's it?
But you have a sufficient reason too.
No, go. What's your
Well,
sufficient
look, there's a
reason?
distinction,
Get into it.
first
Go
of
on.
all, between.
Wait, no,
Test the
then
waters.
he just entered explosion.
Test the waters.
I've
Test the
kind of-
waters.
I've kind of-
Test the
You've gone-
waters.
he's entered
Test the
explosion
waters.
already.
I know you're scared. I know you're scared.
In fact,
Look at
Max,
them.
Max,
They don't.
Max, hold on.
Yo, test the waters. Test the waters. Test the
We're
waters.
testing the waters.
Test the waters.
And for some
Test the
reason,
waters.
there
Why is
seems
it
to
wrong?
be like a visceral
Why is it
fear
wrong?
for just saying
Why is it
that.
wrong? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
Together, it's fine.
Why is it wrong? No problem. Both of you together. Go. Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? No, don't ask me questions. You're unqualified. Ask me, why is it wrong? Tell me you're underqualified. Ask the question.
That's
Don't
not
ask me questions.
a point to be
I'm making
made.
the same effect.
That's not an appeal to be made. It's just
It's not appeal. I'm
poisoning the world. It's just
I
poisoning the
don't
world.
care. I like to poison it.
You like to poison the world.
Yeah,
so you
no
like to have
problem.
dishonest
Well, poison,
argument. That's fine.
nice. I'm poisoning
And then you're
it.
basically
Tell me
being
now.
dishonest. Very good.
Poison it, good.
Yeah,
Poison
so you're
that.
being
Well,
dishonest.
now let me ask you a question.
That's fine.
Ask me, why do you disagree with it? Test the waters. Test the waters.
Because that will entail something
How?
called a modal
How?
context.
How?
It's called a distribution
How?
axiom.
How?
The implication of A being necessary and implying that B.
What's A here? What's A in this analogy?
or
Anything
A
that
analogy,
exists.
Anything that exists. Any contingent fact.
Well, hold on. I'm going to say anything, a contingent fact. That's not what I said in my argument.
But he's making.
No, no,
He's
hold on.
giving
Deal
the
my
actual
argument.
axiom. He's giving the
That's
actual
not what I said in
axiom.
my argument.
You
Use
agree-
my articulation.
Look, the conclusion of your argument is that there exists a necessary cause, a necessary.
I haven't said that in my argument.
Your conclusion.
I haven't said that. Haven't said that in my argument. Haven't said that in my argument. Haven't said that in my argument. Test the waters. Test the waters.
He's saying
Test
it's
the
a
waters.
necessary
Test the
implication,
waters
that's what
now.
he's saying.
Both of you, come on. Put your heads
saying it's a
together.
necessary
Test the waters, boys.
implication. Brother,
Test
put
the
your heads
waters.
together and
Test the
actually answer the
waters.
implications.
Test the waters. No, you don't need to ask for that. My conclusion is as follows, or my postulation is as follows. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Test the waters. Tell me why it's wrong. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Test the waters.
You understand you can have
Test the
contingency-
waters.
You understand you can have contingency
Why is it
arguments.
wrong?
You understand you can have contingency arguments under an atheistic.
I don't care about all that. Tell me why it's wrong.
Then you don't
Why
care
is
about
it
his
wrong?
reason. Then you don't care about his reason.
Why is it wrong? Yo, why is it wrong? You
giving
said
the
it's wrong.
reason why.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, he
No,
is.
it's not.
What
No,
did he
it's
say?
not.
Well, then
Why
what
is
did
it
he say?
wrong?
Then what did he
Test
say?
the waters.
Then what did he say?
Test the
Then what
waters.
did he say?
Why is it wrong?
What did he say?
He said,
Hold on,
can
what did he say?
he said, he's, excuse me,
Atheistic naturalistic account.
he said, what is?
What you just said. There cannot be. Look, you can have some necessary grounding, and it not be like an agent that caused like it really to exist. He never said cause.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I never said that. I never said that.
It doesn't have to be cause.
Yeah, exactly. See, why you running? Why? Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's right.
No one's
He's right about
Like your
that.
eyes
He's right about
He's
that.
just using a different
Test the
word.
waters. Test the waters. Why is it the
Is there
case?
not a sufficient
No, you said no. What?
Is there no. I'm asking
Provide
you
your
now.
evidence.
Is there-
No,
is
you're not
there
asking
a
me anything. I'm asking you a question.
See this shift
I
to
said
the-
that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Test the
You have a
waters.
particular postulate.
Test the waters. Test the
He's just
waters.
saying test the waters, but again,
Put it in.
the point is that the actual
What's your
statement
argument?
itself-
What's your argument?
Analytic claims all the time.
What's your argument? What's your argument?
You are the one presenting argument to me.
No,
You're
you said
making
you
a
don't. It's wrong.
postulation.
You said it's wrong. That's a statement of fact. That's a
Does he
truth
have to
claim.
give a sufficient reason why?
Yes. Go
So
ahead.
then why are you saying that he has to give a
Tell
sufficient
me
reason
now.
why?
Why don't you and I-
Test the waters. Test the waters.
So I have to give a sufficient
Test the
reason,
waters.
you don't.
I don't mind. Go first.
So
You're saying it's
so
wrong.
you
Why is
can
it wrong?
Wait, so you can deny.
Is it wrong? You said it's wrong though. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong?
So the PSR
But it must be wrong for a reason. Is it wrong for a reason?
Dismissed without
No.
evidence. We already said that he's
I'm saying
racist.
it's
That's
a
why you-
PSR for a reason. What's the reason? What's the reason it's wrong? Why is the PSR wrong? Why is it wrong?
I never.
Sorry, not the PSR. Why is the argument wrong? Why is the argument wrong?
Because your argument
Yeah,
holds
yeah.
a strong version of the PSR. And the
That's
strong
not a
version
reason.
of
That's
the
wrong.
PSR Oh my.
Why is it wrong? What's your evidence? It's wrong. Why is it wrong? Do you understand English? Why is it wrong?
I'm saying the reason why is because
Why is it wrong?
his argument
reason why
relies
it's
Yeah. Go on. Yeah. Why it's wrong? Yeah.
Because it's self-defeating.
Why?
Can't even get off the ground.
Why?
Because it results in a modal collapse. Where
How?
nothing is
Show me how.
I'll show you
How?
Now, look, in virtue of that contingent fact.
What contingent fact? What contingent fact? I didn't mention the word contingent fact. I didn't make the
You
contingent.
don't have to say the word contingent.
Then you're not dealing with my argument. Then you're not dealing with my argument.
You don't have to explicitly say
No.
the word
You got to deal with my argument. Deal with the language. You're not following. Test the waters.
This is an academic.
Excuse me. I've said to you, look,
Follow the argument.
my argument, I'm making it to you. I said it again. Do you want me to say it for the third time? Test the waters. You're not using the language even I'm using.
Look, if the language is going to entail the same thing, it does not matter.
No, I'm telling you to use my language. Use my language. I'm saying that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Disprove it. Disprove it. You said it's wrong. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
The reason why,
Yeah.
because there is going to be sufficient. You can, yeah, but
What?
there is going to be sufficient reason. as
For what? Reason for what?
For your postulation.
What?
For your postulation.
There is sufficient reason for that. For what? My postulation.
Is there not a sufficient reason?
Wait a minute.
Look, it's
What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Look, either it's the case.
Let him say his thing. I want to hear
It's
it.
the case. There is a sufficient reason as to why that postulation is true, or there is not a sufficient reason.
Okay, let's say it is.
Okay, if there's a sufficient reason, and you're holding the strong PSR in this thing, the strong PSR is going to entail a modal collapse.
How?
The reason why it's going to entail a modal collapse
Why?
is because in virtue of the sufficient reason, either
What's sufficient reason?
No, it's going to be sufficient reason as to why it's going to be true, right?
What sufficient reason are you talking about?
Right. So
Which one?
You're saying there's sufficient.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't not understand what you're saying.
Well, then you're obviously not familiar with conjunctions.
No. What do you mean, bro? Come on. Come on, bro. What are you talking about? Explain your reasoning, bro. Explain your reasoning. Why is it going to reach a modal collapse? What modal collapse? What modal collapse? What modal collapse? How? How?
Okay, if you want me to explain.
Yeah.
Look, do you know what modal collapse is?
Explain it in your ways, in your language. Don't ask me about things. You're underqualified. Answer your own way. I
That's not
want to understand it your way.
saying that you're underqualified.
It's a point. It's an objective fact.
Okay,
You don't know what
we
you're
can
talking
grant
about.
it's an objective fact.
What
but
you
that's
asked me
not-
what's a
has no
modal
relevance
collapse.
to the argument that's being
If you
made.
okay, we're talking about modal categories. You're talking about modal categories. So I'm telling you. So
I just want to know what are you going to let
well, are you going to let me speak?
Asking what's a modal collapse.
Let him speak.
Hold
wasting
on.
your time. We spoke to him last week.
Really?
We spoke to him.
No. But I'm asking. He's saying modal collapse. Explain why it's a you got modes. Yeah, you've got different modalities, right?
What modality
Okay, so
you use?
I've used the word dependency. That's the only thing
modality are
I'm
you
not
using?
using contingency and necessity.
Modality
I'm
are
not
you
using those modalities. I'm not using them.
Do you know what modality is?
Yes, I am. I'm
What's
not using the language of modality. I'm not using the language of modality. I'm not using the language of modality. I'm not using. What is it? You tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
Why should you ask me anything?
In the
Why should I ask you? You're the academic.
So
You should teach me, right?
okay, so you got modal
You're a qualified
categories.
person. What's modality?
Okay, so what?
What's modality?
I'm not using the modal categories. I'm using the word
But then
dependency.
define the term that you're using.
I'm using the word dependency. I'm
You
not
said
using
that
the
there
word
are different
dependency.
terms.
You're not Christian, bro.
I've defined it already. I've defined it.
Bro, look at the hate you've got. You're allying with somebody who's a
No, I'm asking a question.
Hey, I don't care enough. Ali, you've talked to
I'm
me.
not
Ali,
using
How are you allying with somebody who doesn't believe in God?
Wait.
You should be on our side, bro.
I don't have hate.
Still using a
Are you not Christian? Are you not Christian?
He's underqualified.
But I
Are you
don't
not
have
Christian?
hate.
You're a Christian. You're allying with someone who doesn't believe in
No,
God.
I'm not using the word contingency, bro.
He's a theist.
I'm using the word dependency.
No, he's a theist.
I'm using the word dependency, bro. I'm not using the modal categories.
Do you believe? Thank you. Thank you.
No.
As a Christian, no, check this out. A Christian allying with an atheist.
No. Why is it going to be a modal collapse? No, but hold on.
Yeah, atheist.
Yes, thank you.
Just forget
As a
it.
Christian,
Tell me why it's going to be a
allying
modal
with an
collapse.
atheist.
Why is it going to be a modal collapse?
Atheist. And he said that
Why is it gonna be a modal
he's
collapse?
atheist. What the hell?
Why is it going to be a modal collapse?
Oh my god.
I'm not using the language of
He just said that
modality.
he's atheist.
I'm not using the language of
He said
modality.
that he's atheist.
Brother, let's deal with the atheist. Then we'll talk.
No. He said
Let me say again.
he's atheist.
Okay.
Now I'm a classical theist. He's a different kind of theist. He's Hegelian.
I've spoken to this guy. He denies. He doesn't believe in God.
What?
No. He
What are you
denies, like,
saying,
for
bruv?
example, he denies
What
like
are you saying?
personability. He denies miracles.
What
I
are you
agree
saying,
with that.
bruv? A contradiction of the
Bro, this guy's
negation.
my friend. Like I know. I've spoken to him before. Like, we have something.
What are you talking about? What?
But yeah, so for the argument, for the argument.
You mean the affirmation? My thing is negatory. I'm signing with a
The problem is,
negation.
it's making. The problem is like the sign of
No,
truth.
I'm not. I'm saying there is no state of affairs.
Yeah, so the negation.
I'm saying there are no state of affairs.
I know.
There is
No, because he's saying the truth. I don't care about like who's what. I'm talking about the arguments themselves.
You're going to logical fallacy. You're doing logical fallacy. That's affirming the consequence.
I
Yeah,
know, and you mocked me.
yeah, you are.
That's fine.
That's
That's fine. But here's the point.
brother. You're making this is
For example,
all around the circle.
you're making that's a logical fallacy. That's a logical fallacy.
Really simply, imagine an 11-year-old girl
I've
wrote
just
like
given you a
everything,
postulate.
like wrote like great mathematical theory.
Okay, so
right?
in modal,
That
you've got modal
wouldn't
logic, right?
disqualify her from
So
actually
modality,
saying-
you've got different modalities.
Just
You've got
because she's
possibility,
11
for
doesn't
example.
mean
You've got
that the content
impossibility.
she's saying is wrong.
You've got different things.
I know,
No, I do know what I'm saying.
But what he's
So you
doing is
mentioned
every
David
single
Lewis.
time he makes
David
time,
Lewis
he's saying
talking-
you're not qualified.
Yeah, so that's the deal of
But what
modality.
he's doing is he knows that everyone else in the audience is going to be like, oh, he's talking to an
Tell me how.
unqualified person, so we don't have to take it
Tell me how.
seriously.
Tell me how they're different. What modalities are you talking about? Possibilities, impossibilities, contingencies,
You don't
what?
have to, but that's an appeal to authority.
So what?
I don't need to be qualified to say something true.
So what modalities are you talking about?
Modalities are different.
And you agree
Tell
with
me what you
that?
mean. Give me
So
examples.
you can give, for example, the narrowly minded.
Do you want to go over there? Do you want to go over there discussing?
You could have the.
What modal collapse are you talking about? What do you mean by modal collapse? What do you mean by modal collapse? Can you explain it to me?
I asked you the first
No, I want to ask
question.
you. What do you mean by modal collapse? What does it mean? What does it
Why
mean?
is the verdict keep shifting?
No, I want to know what it means. What does it mean? What does modal collapse mean? What do you mean by modal collapse? What do you mean by modal collapse?
A modal collapse
Yes.
is where the modal predicates of
Like-
some modal.
Like what? Give me an example of which ones.
So
Like
let's say,
what?
for example, necessity.
Yeah, necessity.
Contingency.
Yeah, which I just mentioned.
possibility,
I just mentioned those.
possibility.
I just mentioned those.
The result.
It just mentioned those, yeah. Yeah, I just mentioned those.
Let
Yeah,
him finish. Please.
yeah.
What happens is in a modal collapse,
Yeah.
one of the modal properties, or one of the modal predicates, collapses into all things. So when,
Show me how. No, let him go. Let him
what the hell
go.
are you talking about?
Why get angry with him? Let him say his thing. You guys, why get rude to him? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for?
Because he said
Why get
prove
rude to
the
him for? Don't get
definition.
rude to him, bro.
No.
Don't get rude to him, bro.
Because he said prove the definition.
You're both coming in. He's coming in. He's being polite.
But
He's being polite.
but he
Don't
said
disrespect him.
he said
Don't
prove
disrespect
it.
him. Don't disrespect
No, because he said prove
You're
it.
both coming in, you're
Yeah, but no,
disrespectful.
because
He's
he
not
said-
doing nothing.
when did I disrespect you?
Bruv, you're both coming in as 2-on-1. He came in, he said a few
So how's
words.
that disrespectful?
No, but he's coming in, he said
said
a
I
few
was
words.
disrespectful.
No,
How
hold
was I?
on. He's coming in, he didn't say
No,
nothing.
we get that point. We're saying how was I disrespectful?
So all I'm saying is that he's coming in,
Okay,
and you're
great.
shouting
But
at
how
he's
was I
shouting.
disrespectful?
Because you're both coming in and talking over each other. He's coming in and
So how was I
words.
disrespectful towards
Anyway,
you?
go on.
You
I didn't show
told me
disrespect
so
towards
far
you.
that modality is modal predicates. You're wrong about that.
No, I'm not
You're
saying
wrong
that.
about that.
I said that, no.
I asked you
Modality includes what? What is modality?
Modality.
What is it?
Modality are different views in which you can say something is or is not possible. Now look, there are going to be loads of different ways.
How's that going to be expressed? Give me an example of modality.
So
Go
look,
on.
you can use David Lewis's modality, for example.
Say again?
David Lewis's modality. And he's going to say, for example, David Lewis.
Yes,
Big
yeah.
So he's going to say, for example, that all possible worlds are actually existing
Yes, okay.
at the same time.
No, but
And
that's
he's
modal
gonna-
realism.
Hold on.
That's
I know,
modal
I know.
realism.
And
No, you're wrong, by the way.
Hold on.
He's giving one type of modality.
So it's possibility and modality.
No, that's a modal predicate.
So what? So what are you saying?
We
Modal collapse.
predicate-
When you say modal collapse, what do you mean?
A modal collapse is where we have a modal system and
Yes.
it collapses into
How?
one modal
Give me an
predicate.
example how. Give me an
So
example.
So your argument.
No, give me an example.
Your argument.
Show me how.
Your argument.
Show me how.
So your
What's the working out?
Okay, that's what
Use
I'm
it
asking.
with the existence of possible.
Show me how.
So like all possible worlds.
No.
collapse into one.
Let him say it.
So look, let's say for example we have a possible world in which let's say we have a necessary being, and the necessary being has an essential property about it. Let's
Necessity.
Say, yeah. Let's say.
Yeah, fine.
necessity.
Yeah.
Now, whatever the essential property about the necessary being
Yep.
explains is going to entail what it explains. That's called the distribution axiom.
Yeah, but that's not the argument.
Hold on.
That's not the
Oh
argument.
my, you asked me to give me an example. I'm giving you an
Yeah,
example.
but that's not how I've
Hold
articulated
on.
the argument.
You've asked me to give you an example.
Yeah, but that's not how I articulate the
You've
argument.
asked me to give you an example.
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
giving you an
So
example.
tell me how that applies to my
So
argument.
the reason why I applies to your argument.
Yeah, go on
is
now.
because
Now this way. Yeah.
You believe
Yeah.
in an agency.
I didn't say that in argument.
It doesn't matter.
No, but you're talking about my beliefs. You're talking about my beliefs.
He's
The
saying
argument
that
is no. Hold on. So tell me how that applies to my argument. Go.
Okay.
Test the waters. Test the waters.
Just
Test
repeating
the waters.
test the waters doesn't mean anything.
Test the waters. Tell me how it applies. Test the waters. Go.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all.
Go. Test
I'm not
it.
scared at all.
Test it.
I'm not scared at all.
Test the waters.
Your argument is fallacious.
Tell me how.
It's cool.
How?
Look, is there a sufficient reason as to why you're postulating?
You're asking me questions now. So you're asking me questions now. Tell me now. Why is it
This why I'm
fallacious?
testing you.
No,
This is
test the
how
waters now. Tell
I
me
have
why
to
it's
ask
wrong.
you a question
Test the waters.
to show how you're-
Test the waters.
To show how you're in argument.
Tell me why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse? Tell me now. What's my argument? What's my argument? What's my argument?
You made a posture.
Wait, hold on.
You made a posture.
Necessitarianism is not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
Okay, so you believe
It's not incoherent.
So you understand that necessitarianism is, and in all possible worlds,
Yeah.
God had to have created the world.
Yeah, it's not incoherent. It's not logically incoherent.
Hold on,
It's not logically incoherent, is it?
To your view.
Okay, excuse. How is it contradictory? How is it contradictory?
Because God has free will.
I don't believe
God
it.
has
Hold
free
on.
will.
I don't believe necessarily. I'm saying how.
Does God have
No.
free will?
Now you're going
Does God have
theology.
free will?
I'm saying
Does God have
philosophy.
free will?
That's theology.
Does God have
That's
free will?
theology.
God does
That's
God have free will?
theology. That's theology.
That's philosophy.
I'm saying
This is an entailment of your view.
that's theology. You're going to religion.
This is
You're going to
Of your
religion.
view that you're going to reject.
I don't care.
I don't
care about the rejection then. That
You're
doesn't
saying
mean anything.
hold on.
Not even engaging my
Test the waters. My postulation was as follows. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things
The
exist.
reason
Why is it wrong?
Because
Why?
it entails
Why?
a modal collapse
How?
of necessity.
How? Tell me how.
Because in the argument,
Yeah?
the thing that's going to sufficiently explain
Yeah.
the contingent fact,
Go ahead.
right, is going to explain it either in virtue of an essential feature or a contingent feature. If it's a contingent feature, it's going to rely
Sorry, in virtue of what?
something
In virtue of what?
In virtue of an essential feature.
Essential feature of what?
Or a contingent
Essential
feature
feature of what?
Of the explanation.
What do you mean? How?
So
Give me an example of that.
So, explain my bad.
Huh?
So look, you're going to say now there's going to be sufficient reason that is going to explain the reason why the postulation even obtains. Now look,
how?
Either it's very simple, and it's contrastive. Either the thing is true or the thing is not true. You're saying the thing is true. Look, hold on.
You're saying it's not true, so why is it not true? Go. You're saying it's not true, why is it not true?
I haven't said it's not true.
Yeah, I'm saying it's true.
Can you stop?
No, tell me why it's wrong. Tell me why it's wrong. You're speaking but not saying anything.
Let him finish the argument.
You're speaking a lot. He's speaking a lot but not saying anything. Tell me now.
We can look around and
no, I'm letting you speak.
Doesn't mean anything.
I don't care, bro. Go.
So either it's an essential feature or it's a contingent feature. If it's contingent, we already agree it's not going to sufficiently explain the reason as to why it
can just stay
Who said we don't agree with that?
because hold on.
So telling me to shut
question.
What? Sorry, man. Stay calm.
Bro, it's you.
Shut up, stop butting in, bro. You're a Christian. You're a Christian.
Leave
You should be on our side.
Forget this guy, man. Let him say something. I don't care. Let him help him. Let him help him. Go.
Let
him go.
I'm an atheist against a Muslim.
No, he's not.
This is
Leave him, bro.
Shut up.
Argument
itself.
The argument's a bad argument. So it doesn't matter who-
You and your bad arguments don't last.
Tell me now.
By somebody clown.
Tell me now.
You got rinse, bro.
You didn't even understand half the conversation.
You have no idea.
Learn a lesson.
Wait, you don't even understand half of the
Learn from the learned one.
Explain.
Name me one modal.
Did I say I
Bro,
know?
why does he need to?
I don't know.
So how can he say that he got rinsed if you don't understand the context?
I'm talking about some more.
He's running away now, Ali. He's running away now.
He was
He's running away. He's running away, bro. I made a quick.
I just don't like the fact that
Okay,
he's saying he knows more things
no.
about people that obviously know
Who
more.
cares, bro?
It doesn't matter.
Who cares? You don't like that? Who cares? You what you like? Look, I'm asking a question. The postulation is. Excuse me.
You
Let me
asked me to
just.
finish
Let
my argument.
me just say one thing and then you can say.
You're gonna let me speak?
Let me say one thing and you can say what you want. Let me say one thing and
Is it
you
gonna be important to the debate?
can I say one thing and
Is it gonna be
then
important?
can I say one thing and then you
You
can.
can, if it's gonna
Or
be
take 10
important.
seconds.
Go ahead.
My postulation is that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
there
You said that.
sufficient
Excuse me.
No,
You
I'm saying
said.
there's none.
You said that's. You said that. Am I gonna speak? Am I gonna speak? You said that's wrong. Why is it wrong? You said it's modal collapse. Why is it modal collapse?
Okay, now you're correct. Now you said what I said. I said it tells a modal collapse.
You said you disagree.
Never said
You
it's
did.
wrong.
You did say you disagree.
I
Go
said I
on.
disagree with the argument.
Yeah, go
because
on.
you're employing what's
So
called
why
a
is the modal
strong
collapse? Why is the
version
modal
of the
collapse?
You let me finish?
Yeah, he's saying it's because there is a version of the PSR you're using.
Look, the weak.
Show me how.
Show me how you're using a version of the PSR.
Show me why it collapses. Why is the modal collapse? Why?
Yeah.
Let him say his thing. Why is there a modal collapse? Let him say why is the modal collapse. Why? Let him say. Let him say why is the modal collapse. He's trying to run from it. Why is there a modal collapse? Why is there a modal collapse? You talked about modalities. You said I don't know what modalities are. Then you talk about David Lewis's modal realism. I've read his books. I know he died in 1965 or whatever.
That's a great fact. You know when he died.
I know. Yeah. He's acclaimed as one of the leading philosophers of the 20th
Let me
century.
make this very clear.
Excuse me. I've read his stuff. I know what he's talking about. I understand the distinction between, possible worlds, instrumentalism and realism, and what his position is. I know what you're talking about. Listen.
I'm not talking about David Lewis.
I know, no, but you mentioned it. But so I'm just saying.
But he's not talking
I
about
know. But excuse me. All I'm saying. I'm asking you a question now. You made a claim, bro. Your claim was. I know I did. I did. But I'm asking you to disprove it. You said this. I said I'm not. Let me finish. You said it entails my argument. That the postulation that there cannot be a state of affairs where all dependent. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. You said this argument entails modal collapse. How?
Because it presupposes.
It doesn't use the language of modality.
It doesn't matter. You're presupposing the strong.
Bro, honestly,
version of the PSR.
you're wasting my time. Come on,
if you're
bro.
not well versed in the contingency argument, that's just not my
Brother,
fault.
I'm doing a PhD on it, man.
That's not my fault.
Brother, I went to Oxford. I got a bloody thing from it, brother. Do you want to see something?
No, you did a
No, hold
postgrad at
on.
Oxford. You're not an undergrad.
I done a postgrad in Oxford.
you did a
Brother, don't
postgrad.
tell me I'm not qualified, brother. You guys haven't even got a degree, man. Who are you?
Anyone can get a postgrad
Don't
at
do it.
Oxford.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I will.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I will. In
Don't
3
do
years.
it.
I
Or
will in
whatever,
3
man.
years.
You're
I will in 3 years.
talking to me like I'm your younger, bro.
I'm gonna do a postgrad
Get out of
in
here,
3
man.
years.
Tell me now. Speak to me with respect. Speak to me with respect. Remember one thing. I've been peer reviewed.
That does not matter.
You guys are lay people, underqualified, not qualified. No, I'm not. I'm peer reviewed. I'm qualified, brother. You're telling me I'm dumb. I'm telling you I've gone through the exams. I'm done, bro. I'll ask you a question. You're saying it's modal collapse.
That's not an argument.
Atheist, Christian.
I'm asking a question.
Against Muslims.
Ask a question. My question is, why is the modal collapse?
You guys are jokers, man.
Why is the modal collapse?
Do you affirm the strong?
Why is it modal collapse? Answer the question, man.
The reason
Go
why.
through both the strong and the weak.
The reason why.
Oh, why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse? Do you know why?
Do I know why?
Why is it? Why is my argument? Why does it entail a modal collapse?
Because he's about to collapse. That's why.
No. Let me explain. My argument is this: there cannot be. I'm not even using the language of modality. That's how bad it is. I'm not using the word possibility. These predicates.
You said cannot.
You said cannot. You're saying it's something that cannot occur.
So that means you're saying it's impossible.
No. But yeah, good. It entails it.
You're using modal language.
No. Oh my God. I said I'm not using the language of it. I'm not saying the entailment.
You're presupposing the
modal. Accept it.
So you're using modal language. So what you're saying?
No, I'm not using modal language.
Cannot is impossibility.
No, that's not
modal language.
Yes, it
cannot.
is.
No, cannot. No.
What does cannot mean?
Cannot. Can also. No, let me explain then. So you ask a question.
What does cannot mean?
Cannot mean. So there's two kinds of impossibility. If you read any,
let them do it.
Look how he's acting. You don't act like this unless you're losing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Brother, there's no winning or losing. What you're saying is wrong.
Okay, brother, you're not in a position to judge that. You're underqualified. You're not even done a degree.
No. Anyone that can think has a position to judge.
Excuse me, my friend. You're
so
not in a position
your
to
opinion
judge.
is wrong.
You're not in a position to judge. You're not in a position to judge. Now let's go back to
an opinion. Any individual that can think and have an opinion.
I said, look, I don't want to be I don't want to be a pedant here. I didn't say that my argument doesn't entail modalities. I didn't say that. That you'd be right if you said, well, it cannot, in your specific argument, entails an impossibility. I'm not saying that. I said I didn't use the language of
That's fine.
No problem.
What was my response?
Yeah, fine. What I'm saying to you is this. Fine. I'll accept, for the sake of to move forward with this thing. I'm going to say to you, I'm saying it's impossible, for the sake of argument. I am saying, yes, I'm going to now use the language of modality. I'm going to use the language of modality to help the situation. No problem.
What type of modality
hold on.
Just
let me say it. Let me say it. I'm saying it's impossible for there to be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Impossibility, the opposite of it is necessity. So obviously the kind of modality that I'm using is a negative necessity. I am using that, and that is in the tables and the grids of modal logic. So I'm asking you the question now. Can you disprove that and show me how it works? Okay. Disprove it, man. Test the waters.
Within any axiom of any modal system, you're going to have like 3 of the first modal axioms. Okay? You're going to have the K system, you're going to have the T system,
okay,
and the M system.
Why does it lead to modal collapse?
The reason why it leads to the modal collapse is because within the K system, there's going to be something called the distribution axiom.
Okay, how does it lead to,
whereby if you have A...
What's A in this situation?
A would be, for example, the sufficient reason as to why B obtains.
So what, give me, in my argument, how that...
Your argument,
yes.
Your conclusion of your argument, because I know you're a theist... And
no, don't say I know you're a theist.
So you're not a theist?
No, it doesn't matter what I am. No, it doesn't matter. You don't invoke someone's beliefs. Sorry, you don't invoke.
He invoked my beliefs.
No, it doesn't matter. He's
then
cussing
tell him
you.
to leave.
No, leave him as he is.
You're allowing people to poison the well in the
No, excuse me. Hold on. Don't invoke my belief system. Deal with the argument. Go. Why is it wrong?
This sufficient reason is going to entail the fact.
What's the sufficient reason in this situation?
In your particular case, it's going to be God.
I didn't mention the word God once. I didn't use the word God once.
Being disingenuous. Is it or isn't it?
No, I'm not being disingenuous. I didn't use the word God. I didn't use the word God. I didn't use the word God.
Okay. Is there a sufficient reason for why that contingent fact obtains?
What contingent fact? I didn't use the word contingency in my articulation.
Do you know what contingent fact is?
Yes, I do know what
Tell me.
Okay, contingency can be defined in different ways. I'm not going to go to history of it.
A contingent fact.
No.
What's a contingent fact?
I don't need to tell you because I don't need to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you want to know, do you want to know? Yeah. Okay. You want to know? Go get my book Burhan, which has been peer reviewed in Oxford University, and read it.
Great, then just
go read that book. Go read that book.
Quote from the book.
It's free.
Signed by me.
Quote from the book. Just quote from the book.
Free. I have a whole chapter talking about contingency. Whole chapter.
There are terms that you are using.
And the reason, hold on. The reason why I haven't used the word, I don't need to define it now, is because I use the word dependency. You haven't used that word once. Use it and test the waters. Go. Use it and test the waters. Go.
First of all, in the definition,
You're really excited.
Dependency,
Test the waters.
Test the waters.
Test the waters. Test the waters.
Test the waters. I don't know. Test the waters.
Go.
Test the waters.
Why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse?
Test the waters.
Because sufficient
Test the
reasons.
waters.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Necessary reasons.
I don't
What's necessary reasons?
Necessary
Which ones?
reasons.
Which ones are those?
Look, either the sufficient
Which ones are those?
Either.
Which one?
Which ones are those?
Either.
Which one?
Either.
Which ones?
Which ones are those?
He's
Which ones are those?
explaining, meaning either. So he's
Let him
giving
say it,
out
let him
reasons.
say it,
He's giving
let him
out
say it.
reasons.
It's gonna be.
So I'm not going to touch it, don't worry. So when he says sufficient reasons, he's saying either this sufficient reason or this sufficient reason. He's actually giving you sufficient reasons.
What sufficient reasons are you talking about?
Let me get the
What are you talking about?
Let me get the
Yeah,
argument.
opaque context.
I don't even know what you're
Opaque
speaking about because you
context.
haven't given me a
Opaque
definition of
context.
modality.
Opaque relation.
You don't even believe in Trinity.
Opaque relation.
Look, you can ask.
Bro, you're being exposed now.
No,
You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent.
You don't even know the
You're
difference.
fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. I don't know the difference, yeah? I know the difference, yeah? You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. You're
We're saying that
fraudulent.
what he's saying is wrong.
Yeah, you're
If a
fraudulent.
Muslim says that 2
You're
plus 2
fraudulent.
equals 5,
Why is it wrong? Test the
if a
waters. Why is it
Muslim says that 2
wrong? Why is it
plus 2
wrong?
equals 5,
Why is it wrong?
then I would support the person
Why is it
that
wrong?
does not believe that.
Why is it
That's
wrong?
fine. If a Muslim says
I don't need to
2
ask you a
plus 2
question. Why is
equals
it wrong?
5, then I would say
فبوهي الذي كفر.
that individual is wrong. So it
My
doesn't
argument is
actually
there.
matter anything what I'm saying,
We're done here.
as well
We're
as
done
your
here.
religious affiliation. I'm not actually shook about
Ali,
anything. Again,
Ali,
it
he's
doesn't
given
actually
up.
matter the religion.
Ali, he's given up.
Of course you give up.
He's given up.
Where else are you
Ali.
going to
You
do?
said
He's given up. He's given up. He's given up. Man. Test the waters. Do you want
He's given
it?
up.
Why is it wrong? 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 Why is it wrong?
Are you gonna ask my questions?
I'm answering your. I'm asking
Are you
you.
asking my questions?
Why is it wrong?
Did I say it's wrong?
Why
Did I
is
say it
it?
entails modal collapse?
Why does it entail modal collapse?
Now, look.
Why? Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I can ask a contrastive question,
Which is?
why is it the case that it obtains rather than it does not?
What do you mean? What is what? What
my
is
God. Your
it? What's the it?
Your postulate.
What's my postulate?
Your postulate.
What's my postulate?
He just wants you to repeat.
What's my postulate?
I'm probably gonna misphrase.
He said repeat the postulate again, so you're talking with confidence. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
He cannot. What he's
What's the
saying
postulate?
is that
What's the
every time he
postulate?
says it, you're just going to
What's
say
the postulate?
that you're going to use another
Write
word.
it down.
He's trying to say.
Write it down.
That's fine. I'm not
Write
saying
it down.
I'm just saying. It's fine.
Write it
The
down.
same way that you're speaking
Write
with
it
him, I'm
down.
speaking with him as well.
Write it down.
It's okay.
It's not actual argument.
So why is it entail the
I
collapse?
was here
Why
already.
did-
Yeah,
why-
that's fine.
Why- it's already
He's
worked.
saying that there are
It's
certain
already
postulates
worked.
that will obtain.
Furthermore,
The postulate
it's done.
that he's saying,
It's
the
done.
postulate that he's saying is literally the fact.
I think this argument
There cannot be a
could collapse.
state of affairs
Why?
in which only
Why is it more
dependencies
collapse?
exist.
Why
Now
is it
you're
collapse?
saying that there is no sufficient reason
I'm not
why.
qualified.
You're just repeating
And you
the
are.
statement.
What's your
And the words are
qualification?
going over your head.
Okay, there you go.
And that's okay.
But you're not
That's
qualified
fine.
to talk about this. It's not about
Really, I've done
Yeah,
PhD
the
on
words are
it.
okay, that's fine.
Oh, it doesn't matter. So what do I need to do?
Well, then let's ask some questions.
What do I need to do,
Let's ask
brother?
a question. Let's ask a question. First of all, you don't even know what modal collapse is.
So okay,
You don't even know what modal collapse
okay.
is.
Why is it modal collapse?
You don't even know
Why
what
is it
that
modal collapse?
Wait,
Why is it modal collapse?
How can I tell
No,
you
no.
what that
Why?
is if you
Why?
don't know what it is?
Why?
What's
Why?
modal collapse?
Why is it modal
What is
collapse?
a modal collapse?
You are a model collapse. You are a model collapse.
No, he's not.
No, why is it modal collapse?
Then you're
How
saying
is it
he's
modal collapse?
necessity. Then you're saying he's
Model
necessity.
collapse.
That
Why
doesn't
is it
make anything.
modal
Oh my
collapse?
God, that's leaving.
Why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse?
This is argument.
Why is it modal
Let's take
Why
the
is it modal
argument. I
collapse?
understand
Why?
the joke,
Why?
but
Why?
it's not
I can't
really.
even
It
explain
doesn't make
it if
sense.
you don't even know what it is.
It doesn't make sense because you're saying that he's
Explain it to me.
necessity.
I'm unqualified.
Yeah, go on.
I said he's trying to say that there's
Teach
only
me,
one
teach me, teach me like an ignoramus. Teach me like I'm ignoramus. Go ahead. Teach me like I'm ignoramus. Teach me like I'm him. Go ahead. Teach me like. Go on, tell me what you mean by modal collapse and tell me why it's modal collapse.
I've
Go.
actually already explained to you what modal collapse
Go.
is.
Say it again. Say it again.
But you're the
No, but you're the one using the words. Go on.
qualified.
Use the word.
You're big Mohammed
Use the word.
You're big Mohammed
Use the word.
You're the qualified one.
Why is it modal
You
collapse?
before the atheists all the time.
Okay.
I've literally
Let's-
heard you say,
why
give
is
it
it
enough
modal collapse?
preparation. Because you can look.
Why is it modal collapse?
No.
Why?
Keep 1 year
Why?
later,
Why?
I'll tell you, man.
You said,
Wait,
you
when
said
was
give
it
it
again?
enough
Yeah,
preparation. You can
I beg you do.
fold any
I beg you tell me. I beg you tell me why it's
You're
modal collapse.
struggling to fold little old me.
Yeah, you are little. Why is it modal collapse? Why is it a modal collapse?
He's saying
Why is it
your
modal collapse?
contingency argument will
Yeah,
entail
yeah.
modal collapse.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
your contingency argument
Yeah,
will
go
entail
ahead,
modal
yeah.
Because
collapse. You're saying you're a joke.
sufficient reasons
You said
entail
that
what
I
they
ran
explain.
away.
What is the modal collapse? What?
Wait, I just told you
Yeah.
sufficient reasons entail what they explain. If the sufficient reason is an essential property of, let's just say, predicate A or
What's predicated?
let's just say
What is it in the solution?
in your sufficient reason. I'm not look
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, well then.
No. Break it down. No, break it down. I don't understand what you're saying.
Is there not a sufficient reason as to why the postulate is explained?
It doesn't matter if you're Muslim.
It's argumentative out of turn.
Okay.
So yeah.
You're not.
I get what you're saying, but you're
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's saying that. Ali, we all know that no one's saying that, Ali.
All right, fine. Let's go with it. Yeah, there's sufficient reason. Yeah, there's sufficient reason.
Everyone knows
There's sufficient reason. There's sufficient reason. There's sufficient reason. There's sufficient reason. There's sufficient reason.
Okay. In the virtue of the sufficient reason.
Which sufficient reason?
You just said there is one. So I'm saying.
No. Hey.
Look.
No. Hold on. Let me explain what I mean by it. Hold on. Yeah.
Remember, when we're talking about per se, per accident, causal change, your position is that there is one thing.
So now you've qualified it.
You're saying.
Now you've qualified it.
Okay, let me clarify. Are you saying that for any chain of causal, so any per se or per accident chains of causal causation,
I'm not saying anything about causality.
Now you're going to try and speak about something else.
I'm asking you a question.
But I'm answering your question. I'm saying I didn't say anything about causality though.
Okay, cool. For any per se or per accident chain, is there going to be one or more than one thing that explains those things, that explains those chains? Answer my question.
So at the end of it, what's the entailment of the argument
Hold on,
is?
first of all, I think I'm going too far. Do you know the distinction between per se and per accident?
Listen, now you're asking me trivial questions.
Okay,
With all due respect, look, if you want to go back to my book, man.
How can you speak about the contingency argument if you don't know these basic things like per se?
I spoke to you 1.5 years ago.
Do me a favor.
I spoke to you 1.5 years ago.
No, Ali.
And you came back, bro. Shut up, please, man.
Listen,
Hey,
can I tell you something?
I had
spoke to you
nothing
over
there,
there,
bro.
bro.
And I couldn't even speak to you because you didn't
Bro,
know
with all due respect, bro, listen. What's let him say that. Let him say his thing. I'm trying to get your argument.
Let me speak to your teacher. Let me speak to your teacher.
Don't be rude to him. 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 He's not right.
Let me speak to
Bro,
your teacher.
I beg you do me a favor.
You're the new student. You're the new student.
Unruly.
We don't like you in class. We don't like you in class because you're chatting crap, bro.
Bro, give me
Can you tell him to like stop?
Okay, please.
Can you tell him to stop?
Okay, instead of asking me trivial questions and pop questions,
No.
I want to know your argument. I want to know your argument.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, no problem.
If you don't know what I'm saying,
no.
I have to explain things all over
Explain
again.
it.
But look,
Explain it.
So,
No problem.
so,
Like I'm an ignoramus.
So you're
because
the
remember,
unqualified one.
Yeah.
In this innocence, right?
No, I'm not because objectively
No,
I've got
but
degrees.
you should
so
know
no,
this.
objectively I've got degrees.
Look, if you have
so
studied,
objectively,
if you haven't even gone to university.
Good. So tell me
you
now.
don't even know the distinction
So
between
now, are you
person and
attacking me or the argument?
I'm not. No, I'm not attacking you.
So I could go with the argument. Go with the argument.
You're the one that's saying.
Okay, so go with the argument now, please.
Okay.
Test the waters, please. Go on.
I've tested like 20 times.
No, you haven't done it properly.
Look,
I want to know your argument, please.
Is there a sufficient reason that explains why the postulate does obtain rather than it does not?
What postulate?
The postulate you just.
What's my postulate?
Your postulate.
Say it.
I'm not going to rephrase it again because you're going to do
No, because
sophistic rhetoric.
No.
You can't even say exactly how I said it.
No.
I'm not going to go down that rhetoric.
No, because you're saying the postulate.
No one is
I bet. Listen,
Let's talk about
do
the
me a favor.
arguments.
Okay, my argument is this.
Is not good.
Okay, tell me why.
I've told you why.
Why you said it's
I'll
wrong?
say it to you one more time.
Okay, yeah, why?
Is there
Why?
a sufficient reason
as
to why
your
postulate obtains rather than it does not?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, now
you're using PSR.
Now you're using a strong version of the PSR. I hope you know that.
No, hold on.
I hope you know that, everyone. You're using the strong version
Let's go.
of the PSR.
No problem. Let's go with it.
Now, do you know what that entails?
Yes, I do know.
What does it entail?
You're saying it entails modal collapse.
What is it? No.
Explain me how.
What does it entail?
Entails the affirmation of my premise.
Oh
in my opinion.
God. Bro, what is this?
It entails the affirmation of my premise. Tell me why it's wrong.
Is this the best you have?
It
Tell me why it's wrong.
entails the fact that you set a premise. Is that what you're saying? You're saying
What?
the affirmation.
No,
You're saying
all I
that
want-
it tells you-
Affirmation entails. What are you saying?
No, I think by affirmation it just means it tells that my premise is correct.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean.
Wait. So it's just analytic. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that
You
entails
said
my
it's analytic.
premise.
Wait.
Correct.
So are you just throwing out analytic statements? Is that what you're doing?
Can you tell me
I could
why
throw
I'm
an
wrong?
analytic statement right now.
By the way, I'm trying to be sincere with you, bro. I'm trying to be sincere with you. I'm listening to you very
You don't even know
careful.
what you're saying right now.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, good.
If you can just throw out
Okay, no problem. See, that's an opinion.
So I'm not an
I
analyst.
want to know, with all due respect, why you said it entails modal collapse.
So
I'm trying to understand that.
So we have agreed.
Can I write it down for you?
Go right down.
Yeah,
Get your
yeah.
notebook out.
I'll get my notebook out.
Take
Yeah.
some notes. Come, look.
Actually, I'm not gonna do that because you said it like that.
I mean, the notebook is there, so he'll do it probably after.
No, I want to treat you with respect right now. I want to see if your argument actually holds the scrutiny. So tell me now. You said, excuse me.
I can provide you an actual academic argument.
No, I beg you just
right now and give
one
you the
second.
whole argument.
No, I want to hear this.
Yeah.
You're saying.
I'm going to give you maybe a
What's your name again?
version. Rico.
Rico, listen. I have a postulate. My postulate is there cannot be a state of affairs.
No, I'm going to do it like this. Go on, carry on talking. I'm just going to get out my actual argument on my phone. I'm going to read you the whole argument. I'm going to show you why it doesn't quite entail.
Alright.
Okay?
But my argument is as follows. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Now, You're saying that entails modal collapse. Now, what do we mean by modalities? My understanding of modalities, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you've got things like possibility, impossibility, necessity. These are the modalities that I think, when you talk about modalities, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I understand by modalities. You say possibility is a modality. Now, no, I no problem. That's my understanding. When I write papers, when I read them, that's how I understand the word modality. Modal realism, modal instrumentalism, that's how I understand it. You're saying, no, it's something else. No problem. You tell me what you mean by modality. You tell me what you mean by modality. You tell me what you mean by modal collapse. And you tell me what you mean by this entails modal collapse.
I'll give you all of the ones that I've written
Please.
down.
Do you mind? Do you see what I've just asked you to do? Because right now we're talking cross purposes.
I can even give you my definition of what I mean by possible.
All right, so start with the first one, so that I know me and you on the same page.
Do you want my definition of impossible?
What's modality? What is modality?
So look, I'll read it out to you.
Yes.
So,
what is a modality?
It's just to ask exactly what we mean by something being necessary or possible or contingent.
So that's what I was just saying, right? So
now,
the modalities are possibility, necessity, impossibility.
No, you're giving synonyms that will describe.
They're not synonyms.
Now what we mean.
They're not synonyms. Go ahead.
Well, when I say so,
now what we mean by
please.
modality is going to be entailed by a particular view in modal logic that we have.
No problem.
Now I'll give you some examples.
Okay, no,
you have modal realism. You have modal fictionalism. And you have modal
combinationalism.
Combinationalism.
Yeah, I've got
those
you.
are three different modalities.
No, but hold on.
Now hold on.
Yeah, fine, hold on.
Now, given that they are different modalities,
but hold on.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Different
modalities.
But these are more frameworks.
Now, let me give you.
They're frameworks.
But those frameworks will apply in different ways.
They're more frameworks.
So the Aristotelian causal kind of modality, they're going to say for a non-actual state of affairs S is possible either if S is actual or if something exists with causal power bringing about S. That's going to be an entailment of what they mean when they say possible or necessary. That's going to be their modality.
Okay, fine.
Now when I ask you for your modality, you have to give me your system so I can understand what you're saying. Now if you don't have a modality...
Bro, you're talking...
Hold on.
Let this be a conversation. Let this be a conversation.
I know.
Let this be a conversation. Let this be a
I'm going to
conversation.
give you what I mean when I say possible.
Bro, it's like he doesn't want to...
You ask a question and you answer.
Bro,
I haven't finished my statement.
He gets to finish his statement.
No, but I don't.
You asked me 3 questions.
No, I want the first question. So what is... Can you say it in a sentence? What is modality?
Modality is what we mean and what is going to be entailed by a particular view that we hold in a modal framework.
Give me an example.
Modal realism. Modal
okay, see that's where the cross purpose is happening. Good that we done this, yeah? Because when you say modality for me, I'm thinking, does he mean possibility, necessity, impossibility?
So those things are going to be...
Fine, these are modalities.
They're going to be defined.
No, hold on, that's how I understand it though.
I understand. But I'm saying...
But you understand it?
In terms of the literature...
No, the literature, that's how they use it, bro. They say modalities. They use it like this.
But look, there's going to be nuance. You have to understand that when we read...
Okay, whatever, but that's how I read it. In the English language.
Necessity, contingency, and dependency, these things
are these
modal predicates.
No, but they also use modalities. I've read it as modalities.
Bro,
I'm telling you. No problem.
They are modalities insofar as they are made intelligible by a framework.
Fine. But
we need to get specific.
Okay,
bro. They're not modalities in themselves.
So good.
No, because they are predicates that are
bro, can you just allow me to...
So let me explain to you.
Allow me to come back. Why are you getting frustrated for, bro?
It's just because you're supposed to be like the person that...
But stop saying you're supposed to be.
So it's just really hard.
I'm asking you.
When I talk to people that don't have...
Just do me a favor.
Go ahead.
Me and you are talking cross purposes. If we want to advance the conversation, then we need to know what we talk about. What I say when I say this, what you say when you say this. You're saying, okay, so good. The frameworks, modal realism, and for example, anti-realism, whatever you want to call it, different terms for it, yeah? That I understand as frameworks. They're different frameworks. You're saying, no, these are modalities. Okay, if you want to call them that, I've not read them as that, no problem, whatever, I don't care, yeah? But I understand that's what you mean by that. When you say modal collapse, are you talking about realism and anti-realism now?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
good. Okay, so good. So when you say modal collapse, what do you mean by that, if you don't mind?
In a modality, we have possibility, we have necessity,
and impossibility.
Contingency, and impossibility.
Yeah, you got 4.
Now, in a modal collapse, what occurs is that in a world, in a possible world or in all possible worlds,
in a possible world or?
In a possible world or in all possible worlds,
yes.
The modal predicates collapse into one modal predicate.
Necessitarianism.
Which could be necessity,
yeah.
It could be contingency,
Fine.
It could be possibility or impossibility.
All right, yeah.
That is what a modal collapse is.
Okay,
now,
so why is
argument
that wrong? Why is that incoherent?
Now, hold on, it's incoherent to a view that you hold. And also,
so depending on the view, it's going to be
hold on.
like incompatible.
No, but hold on. Just let me explain something.
Particular strong intuitions we have about the nature of reality also. Now,
say that again.
I can explain those things.
Say that again.
It's going to be incoherent with really strong intuitions that we have about the nature of reality also. So even though, for example, like necessitarianism is going to be entailed by a modal collapse, by a strong PSR, it's going to be incompatible with
so, okay,
about,
I think I understand what you're saying. Bro, I think I understand it now. Can I repeat what you're saying? Can I just, so I know what you're saying?
Do it, I'm going to give you my whole...
Bro, can I just say, bro, please, I beg you, I want to understand what you're saying, bro. Is what you're saying effectively tantamount to the following? If you have a necessary being in one possible world, you have a necessary being in all possible worlds.
That's true.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. But no, hold on, excuse me. That is the ontological argument. Look, excuse me. I'm saying to you, I agree with that. If that's what you're saying, perfect. Now we've got somewhere, bro. I beg you. Look, we started off by saying the following. There cannot be a world. There cannot be a state of affairs.
There cannot be a state of affairs where everything that exists in the world is contingent.
No, not contingent. Only dependent things exist.
Dependent.
Yeah, all right. No, hold on. Please.
Is there a distinction?
Please, allow it. Now, what you said is that when you say modal collapse, now that you've identified what you mean by modal collapse, I actually don't even disagree with you. If there is a necessary being in a possible world, then there is a necessary being in all possible worlds.
We agree. Now,
fine. If that's what you mean by it.
Hold on.
Why? Okay. So now my question is, excuse me. Let me just now that we agree now, effectively we agree, brother. We agree now. Hold on. No.
I'm not granting that it is a necessary being.
I know. Whatever.
I'm saying, given that it would be.
Yeah. There would be.
Remain true in all possible worlds.
I know that. That is the ontological argument. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I'm completely aware of that. You've added the
okay, good. All right, cool. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. You said you are. That's fine. That's enough for me. I take your word for it. Tell me why that contradicts my premise. Why? Now that's where the fight is. That's what the fight is.
Remember what the contingency argument is.
I know what it is.
The contingency argument is an attempt to reason from the fact that contingent objects are unexplained to that something that's not contingent explains them. Now look, if it's the case that necessitarianism is true and a modal collapse follows from that, then all contingent predicates become necessary.
Yeah.
Meaning there's no contingency argument.
Oh, I get what you mean. Okay, so no, hold on. Hold on. No. Thank you. Nice try. But here's what we will say. There's a response to that.
I understand.
There is a response to that. Because what we're talking about is that you've got a necessary being. We accept there's a necessary being. Now, if it's the case that there's a necessary being, and whatever comes out of that necessary, or whatever is manifest from that necessary being, is also necessary, then there is no contingent things. That's basically what you're saying. Therefore, that's what you mean by modal collapse.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I understand what he's saying, bro. I'll be honest, I don't understand.
We're trying to say the same thing for like 3 hours.
That's been dealt with by our scholars.
How's it been dealt with?
Yeah, so great. So I've got actually a whole chapter on this in the book. Yeah, you can read it.
Okay.
From one perspective, you're actually right. So whatever comes from the necessary thing is necessary. From one perspective, I'm necessary, you're necessary, and he's necessary. Because anything that comes from the necessary is necessary. But here's the argument. When I say dependent things, I put a little asterisk there. Now listen to this, yeah?
He has to qualify it.
Now I have to qualify it.
Yeah.
Because everything from one perspective is necessary. I accept that.
By supposition maybe?
No, let me explain now. Because now we're getting somewhere.
Sorry.
From another perspective, I'm saying that in abstraction. Now let me explain what I mean by that. You know, you say if P equals Q, P therefore Q, if that's coming from necessary, it must be necessary. I accept from one perspective. That's the thing with the cosmic skeptics, and they understand what I'm saying. I accept from one perspective. From another perspective, I don't accept. What is that other perspective? In abstraction. This bottle in abstraction is not, there's nothing necessary about it. It doesn't have the intrinsic qualities of necessity.
I would
No, do you get it? What I'm saying is that dependent things in abstraction are not necessary. They can only be necessary by virtue of another, which is the necessary thing.
So hold on. So that's a particular view of not only dependence but also contingency, right?
Yeah.
What the modal collapse objection? So people like.
Do you understand my point?
Yeah, you're saying that there are two ways in which you can view it. That's what you're saying. Now, the first.
So from one perspective, I agree with you.
From one perspective, he's arguing that in some sense everything can be considered as necessary.
Yes.
Now, would it be fair to your position to say that there is no other, that this is the best state of affairs that the necessary being could have actualized? Would that be fair to your position?
That's the position of Ghazali.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's not my. I don't know. I don't have a. Yeah, I'm looking into that. Because that one there is a good question.
So in my reading of like Ghazali, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say that Ghazali posits that might be the case, but I don't think, let's say dogmatically, I don't think that he has to hold to it.
You are right, because there's actually a
I know,
there's a discussion about that.
Yeah, I know.
But
Like,
what I'm saying to you is, it's a good question. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
That's fine.
Because that one there is actually a good question.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about when it comes to the, just please, So when it comes to the modal collapse objection, I'm going to use different terms because, by the way, I hate analytic philosophy.
Okay, fine.
Me too.
I'm a scholastic. I'm a scholastic.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, we don't want to use like.
So why are you on his side?
Because you're more familiar with it. What?
Are you not? Are you?
It's not about science. It's not about science.
But this is the third way of Thomas Aquinas. If you're a scholastic.
Aquinas. So okay, as a Thomas, right? Yeah. Aquinas' third way would accept, in some sense, necessity by supposition. So, for example, if I said that, boom, your big leg is cut off, necessarily you wouldn't be able to walk. However, if you sit down, necessarily you wouldn't be able to walk either. These are the distinctions that he gives. So there's a certain kind of necessity in the second definition that wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But you're saying, so then you agree with me saying that there is necessity by supposition, not necessity absolutely.
That's right.
Now, this is the issue, though. This is the issue that I would say. I would
That's
say
the third way.
Yeah, the third way itself. The third way has to be
the entailment of it. I'm saying that, no, bro, can I just tell you something?
Yeah, go on.
The third way of Thomas Aquinas,
right?
Most scholars maintain that it was taken from Ibn Sina.
Yeah, no, I agree that like Thomas Aquinas, like
I get it.
He references Ibn Sina, but the problem is
I get it, but what I'm just trying to say to you is this:
go on.
what I'm saying to you here, is not different from the third way entailment. I'm saying that whatever Thomas Aquinas said on the third way, the entailment of the third way, I follow that for the most part.
Is the third way distinct from the first way that he makes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would hold the view that the third way and the first way are mutually intelligent.
Yeah, now, I agree with that, but it's distinct because he makes it different ways, right?
I'm saying it in a bias. The reason why he's saying this ways only in distinction of reason. So there are like 9 or 10 distinctions that Aquinas gives. So we would say this is in the distinction of reason, which is basically just on the part of the intellect itself, rather than in reality. Now but
he distinguishes them himself.
No, he distinguishes them on the part of the reason.
But that's the argument. I'm making the argument that
No.
Aquinas is making.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to help you out here. So when it comes to Aquinas, in his thought, when he writes the Summa, he only distinguishes them insofar as a reader can understand them.
It's a massive book, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, the Summa is incredibly massive.
No one's read that.
No, I was able to, yeah.
The whole thing?
The whole Summa? Apart from the supplementum.
Really? Yeah, well done to you. It's
so
just like that. It's like that big, bro.
No, but again, the Summa, it has to be read in a specific way. So there's like Garrigou Lagrange's commentary as well as the Manual tradition, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
No, I'm not familiar with.
Right. So I'm a Thomas. So this is
fair
my
enough.
right? Sorry. Apologies. So I'm actually so sorry. So when it comes to what Aquinas is saying, right, the argument that he's trying to present to you is that when you have, for example, God's creative power, it depends on how you view God's creative power. For example, so the modal collapse objection, I'm going to use it in the way that like modern philosophers such as
in your opinion, how would Aquinas respond to the modal collapse objection?
So Aquinas, so the way that Aquinas would respond to the modal collapse objection is that he would presuppose divine simplicity. What he would say
again?
He would presuppose divine simplicity.
Okay.
So with, I don't know if you accept divine simplicity or not.
In one sense, not another sense, but go on.
I'm talking about in like the Aristotelian form.
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly, right. What about in the Avicenna form?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so keep going.
So when we talk about divine simplicity, for Aquinas, he would say that since the notion that is supplied by active power, which is God's just like second act, that is always in second act rather than first act. So because it's in second act, then we can say that it would be an atemporal action that happens, rather than something that has to exist in time that happens before. So the only necessity it can have is necessity by a supposition.
That's
it's
exactly
the same
what I'm
thing
saying.
With people like
That's exactly. By the way, I affirm that.
But the only way that works is if God is identical to that creative act.
No, it's not identical. It's not. I don't agree.
That's the thing. So that now we get to the potatoes, right?
No, hold on. Because you don't. That's not true, bro. Because like
I'm arguing that
that's not true, bro.
So if you say that the creative, act of God,
that's not true, bro. Because what it is that.
Hold on. I understand that your point
doesn't have to be identical.
You're going to say that they don't have to. I understand that, right? So let's walk through because I don't know if half of the people understand what's being said here, right? It's just me and you.
Go on.
Right, cool. when we talk about God's creative power, okay, the creative act, not just the power, right, because that's going to be first act, you're going to define it as first actuality, meaning something that is in action relevant to the agent and in potency irrelevant to the effect. The problem with that is that will entail changing God, and so the creative act has to be in second act, which you would agree with. Here's the issue though. If those two things are distinct, now you have two necessary existing things rather than two necessary existences in the concrete way.
So,
if that is the case, then the P implies Q relation now comes in.
Okay.
Let's say we have God.
Well, are you saying there's two necessary existences?
I'm not saying that because I would affirm that they're identical. I would take the
So, okay, can I ask you a question? On Thomas Aquinas' view, this bottle, does it exist by necessity?
No.
So what is it? What is it?
It would exist. It would exist contingently. Sorry, my words. It would exist contingently. So
how?
It depends.
Is there any perspective?
I want to answer your question how, right? No, again, the question how is warranted, but again, it depends on what school you follow, depending on how you define dependency and contingency.
Go on.
Right. In the Thomistic school of thought, we can say contingency would just be argued that considering the quiddity of the thing itself, right, is existence to be applied to it in an actual sense. So, for example, if I may, thank you. Bottle of water that he just finished, great by the way, good hygiene. Bottle of water, if you consider the quiddity of the bottle does not have to have actual existence or essay, right?
Yeah.
However, if you consider God, since Aquinas' definition of God is very similar to Avicenna as well as like other new places, his definition of God is ipsum est subsistence.
But you're not kind of answering my question here, bro.
I am. Just let me finish.
Is this bottle contingent or
yes, but the
necessary?
reason why it's contingent is because when you consider the quiddity of the bottle in itself,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Existence isn't applied. Now,
all right, so bro, what's your name again?
Sig.
Sid.
Sig. S-I-I-G.
Right. Listen. From one perspective, the fact that God, the instantiation of this bottle is because God, the necessary existence, put it into existence.
I agree with that. That's fine.
So is that done necessarily?
Now, that
from one perspective.
It depends on your view, right?
Yeah.
I would not say even from that. I would say that if this exists, then necessarily God created. If that's what you're saying,
no, the opposite.
That's the thing.
The opposite.
You're saying
if God
exists, He necessarily created that.
Yes.
That's what he's going to say is modal collapse. Now,
no problem.
Now, what type of necessity are you using?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go.
So the necessity is dictated by the will of God.
Oh, no. As in, when you say the term necessity itself, what does that mean? Are you using it in a modal? So, for example, we can have modal necessity where we say that it exists in all possible worlds. So, for example, you would say, God.
No.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right. So
this bottle.
Right. So when you say necessity, there are different usages. So
I'm not using it in that sense.
Right. So what use are you using?
I'm using it in the sense that it exists necessarily.
You're just saying the word. I'm asking for the definition.
But you're saying to be in all possible worlds. Why does that have to be all possible worlds?
Right. No. That's what modal necessity means. So when we talk about.
No, but it's about real in a real sense or in an instrumental sense.
No.
David Lewis sense.
No, not with David Lewis. It's more so just do with.
I want to understand what you're saying.
So like the bottle could have been in a different way, right? That's what we're saying.
So like for example, if I take the bottle of water, right?
Let me explain the position.
I'm not using
Let me explain the position. And I'm sure, I'm not a Thomist, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be similar. It's going to have to be similar.
You're going to try and argue that summa contra gentiles though?
No, I'm saying the following. In abstraction, like you said.
Not necessarily.
You said in essence. I was listening closely to what you're saying, trying to understand it.
Yeah.
In essence, there's no intrinsic attribute in this bottle.
No, there is no, so existence.
There's no intrinsic attribute in this bottle. There's nothing in this bottle, in essence, which has necessity in it. Okay, you agree with that?
Which has existence in it.
Which has existence in it.
So, for example,
okay. I know what you mean by this. I know what you mean by this.
I need to qualify this, please.
Okay.
Bro,
go.
I'm coming. So, when it comes to necessity for Aquinas, right? He makes a distinction. I'm sure you're aware of this.
Essence and existence.
Right, but that's in the day.
That's Aristotelian distinction.
Pardon?
What's that guy called that debated Graham Oppie, the Christian guy?
Kuhns? No.
The one who wrote a book on Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas.
Oh, Faisal. Oh my God, yeah, Ed Faisal. But Ed Faisal. Okay, so I'm not a Fesarian Thomas, right? But when it comes to Aquinas, I'm talking about the working.
Faisal explains in his book that Thomas Aquinas, because that's how I understand Thomas Aquinas from Faisal.
From Faisal. So you're a Fesarian Thomas?
No, I'm not a Fesarian anything.
So you're understanding Aquinas through Faisal.
One of the guys that I look through, yeah.
Right, exactly.
What I'm saying is that he distinguishes between essence and existence, right? Okay. That's notwithstanding the point, because what I'm saying to you, whether or not. He gives the following example. Is there a difference between the circle, the existence of it, and the essence of it?
Yes.
So Thomas, he says that Thomas Aquinas would say that there's the difference is that the essence of the circle is the circularity of it, for example.
Yeah, like the quiddity is this definition.
Yeah, sure.
But in the definition, existence is an entail.
I understand, but what I'm saying is you're kind of moving away from the contingency point. is this bottle contingent on Thomas Aquinas' worldview?
Yes, in his worldview. Because again, the Summa is a very big book, but we're referring to the Diente, which I don't know if you've read, right? No. Exactly.
I haven't even read the whole Summa.
I'm telling you about the Diente, right? He made this at 30 years old when he made this for his Dominican students. So I'm explaining, right? So the bottle of water, you would consider the bottle of water in its definition. Now, if you consider the definition of the water, existence is not going to be part of the definition, and thus it wouldn't be necessary. That's what he's saying. It's not entailed in the definition of the subject that existence is there. For example, you can conceive of a unicorn without the unicorn having to exist.
Yeah, sure.
Now, for God, you would say this, right? God is necessary because in the definition of God, God is, as Aquinas says, ipsum esse subsistence.
I get what you're saying, but you're not.
Existence is entailed in that.
I get it, but you're not dealing with what I'm asking you.
That's why it's contingent.
So it's contingent, right? Great.
That's why.
Okay, so why is there no modal? Why is it not a modal collapse? You believe in necessary being, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Aquinas believes in necessary being.
Yeah.
So why is it not a modal collapse according to Thomas Aquinas?
Because I accept necessity by supposition.
How?
So necessity by supposition with the example I gave before, the man and the leg and the
No, give me an example of this bottle.
Oh yeah. So
how would that work?
If P then Q, so we're gonna have a one-way relation, right?
Yes.
So if P then Q, if the bottle exists, then necessarily God created it.
Yes.
However, the relation would not work. It's
the
not
opposite way.
so it wouldn't work. However, just because God exists, it would not entail the existence of the bottle.
Good.
But that's only because he affirms divine simplicity.
But I affirm divine simplicity, and God's creative action is its second act.
With all due respect,
that's fine.
What you've just said there is exactly my position.
But I'm saying position.
No, bro, please. Because I don't like what you're doing right now.
Oh, what am I doing?
What you're doing is, you understand exactly where I'm coming from, but I feel like there's a big insincerity here. Because look, excuse me.
No, that's not what's going on.
Thomas Aquinas, excuse me, bro.
That's fine, that's not what's going on.
Alright, excuse me. This bottle, okay, I accept. I'm articulating it in a different way.
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying that this bottle, from one perspective, is contingent. Yes. Because in abstraction, there's nothing within this bottle.
In abstraction,
In abstraction, there's nothing within this bottle, nothing within the existence of this bottle, which has necessity within it.
Okay, you're just using necessity as a like.
No problem how I'm articulating the point. Thomas Aquinas would not disagree with what I'm saying right now.
I'm trying to understand the point.
Thomas Aquinas cannot disagree with what I'm saying right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right now, no.
But you know what I'm saying, right? From another perspective, if P then Q, then P therefore Q, modus ponens. You're saying it's a one-way relationship of necessity because God's creative act.
Yeah, because we can't.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that from one perspective, it's one way. Okay. It's one way. It is because God is necessary. He's